Hello, everybody. This is Charlie Hall.
And this is Dave Tach.
And Dave and I have been talking these last couple of days, mainly since the Sony experience this weekend, about No Man's Sky. There's been a lot of renewed interest in the game, but more than anything, there's just been a lot of confusion surrounding it as well. And I think that much of that confusion has to do with kind of just the way that they're marketing and the way that they're promoting the game. Wouldn't you say, Dave?
I think it's a big mystery, and I think it's mystery by design, but it's also very, if it doesn't sound too silly, a very tantalizing mystery. What you see is enough to get you interested, and then the question has been, since it was first revealed almost exactly a year ago, what is this game? Like, I want to play it, it looks really good, but I'm not quite sure what it is.
Right. Well, that's as good a place as any to start. So let's start with kind of the conceptual questions. So when I describe No Man's Sky to people who I like to get excited about games, which is mainly my friends and my family, people that I'm trying to inform about all of the marvelous and diverse things that are happening in the gaming space right now, one of the things I like to bring up is No Man's Sky. And I pitch it to them as an exploration game. It is so very big, you're never going to see all of it, and you can do whatever you'd like to do inside of it. How do you kind of conceptualize the game?
All of that is true, and I think that's probably the best place to start. It is a universe that you get to explore and do things in. It's also a beautiful universe, obviously. But from there, it gets a little harder because the question about what you do in that universe isn't entirely clear. I mean, there's space flight, obviously. That's cool. That's easy to understand and describe. There's hanging out on planets.
There's exploring those planets as well. In the same way that you would explore cave systems in Minecraft, you could explore cave systems and river valleys and eroded plains on these planets that you discover.
Right, and they told us when we talked to them at E3 that there will be some sort of mining element to the game where you collect resources and do things with those resources. So in other words, big picture is you've got a universe. What do you do in the universe? Well, here are some things.
Right. So I think the most immediate concern that players are going to have when they start this game is gathering resources. And that's one of the things that you and I saw when we had some time with the game at this past year's E3. You're going to have what they call kind of a multi-tool in your hand, and you're actually going to be able to kind of reach out in a way kind of like a mining laser and access resources on the planets that you're exploring. You're going to be able to gather those resources and either use them in some kind of way on a character level to generate stuff, to crafting, or you're going to be able to sell them at kind of depots around the universe for credits and get money that way. Yeah, every kind of galaxy within this universe is going to have its own space station where you're going to be able to fly up to and actually turn in resources and do some trading that way. But you're also going to be able to upgrade things like your spacesuit. You're going to be able to upgrade your multi-tool. And then you're also going to be able to turn all of that trade that you're doing into money to go out and buy ships.
I would like many ships, if possible.
I'm not sure if you're going to be able to have multiple ships at the same time. But one thing that just came out in some of their talks at the Sony experience and also in this Game Informer article is you're not going to be able to upgrade the ship.
So you have to buy a better new ship.
Exactly. The whole thing comes as a whole package. Like, you want this ship, you're going to have to track it down and buy this particular ship. And you're not going to be able to kind of augment it with systems, which is kind of a departure from another similar game that's coming out very soon, which is Elite Dangerous. Elite Dangerous is all about upgrading the various components of your starship, and that's just not going to be a thing in No Man's Sky.
Right, that's an interesting take on it, because you would assume, or at least I would assume, that upgrading is part of the deal. But I guess they're designing it this way for a reason, or reasons, that will only become apparent down the road.
I think the next step, though, is player travel. So how is the player going to travel around this massive 18 quintillion planet universe?
In our spaceships.
Any other ways?
There were two new trailers released over the weekend. They both had some interesting stuff that we hadn't seen before. First is the idea of warping in your spaceship. Now, that is taking a shortcut, essentially,
Okay.
from solar system to solar system or galaxy to galaxy. There's also these glowy little warps on planets. Did you see those?
Oh, like the little Stargate things.
Yeah, it's exactly what it looked like. So that's going to be another way to travel. Because they have to solve a problem, right? There has to be some way other than traveling in real time to get from points A to B to C. And I think what we're seeing here is Hello Games' answer to how do you get around, or how do you let players get around, or even get a handle on the universe that we've built.
And these gates are very interesting. It's very, very new, very recent. They just brought them out this weekend, like you said. But here's the trick. You can't bring your ship through those gates.
Of course not.
So you, the player, you, the spaceman, can go through those gates. But once you get on the other side, I think you have to have a buddy there waiting with the ship ready for you to jump into, or you got to get back. And you have to continue your journey after having this, again, tantalizing view of something a little further down the line.
Right. It's just a little slice of the game. The idea, they're going to show us this much, but they're not going to say why you would want to warp or where you would warp to or why this is important. You just have to sort of try and reverse engineer from back there and to figure out, now that I can warp, why would I want to and what would I do when I got wherever I went. The idea that the gameplay itself is still not entirely, it's not that it's not nailed down, which is what I was originally going to say, but it's not clear. And I think that's very much by design, because I'm not sure that there is a prescriptive way from Hello Games to play the game. I think in a lot of ways they want you to just play the game and have fun and do what you like. And they're going to give you a bunch of options and a bunch of places in which to do that. Now, the one thing I don't really know about is whether or not there will be enemies, and if so, who or what those enemies are. Do you know, Charlie?
You saw, again, kind of just snippets of them in these trailers that came out over the weekend. And it appears to me, from what I understand, that the mechs that we saw, those large two-legged mechs, I'm pretty sure those are going to be our enemies.
Okay.
In that Game Informer article, they talked about, the Hello Games folks talked about a kind of a robotic precursor race that is going to be trying to maintain equilibrium on all of these 18 quintillion planets that are out there.
Do they say what they mean by equilibrium exactly?
They are going to push back against players that want to take resources, that want to kill wildlife, and that want to otherwise exploit these kind of virgin worlds that are out there. And so I've seen animations of quadrupedal robots that look a lot like Boston Dynamics Big Dog. I've seen these kind of chicken walker...
Terrifying, sure.
Right? I've seen these kind of giant chicken walker mechs from the videos that we saw this weekend for the first time, and I kind of have a hunch that those are going to be that enemy faction.
I mean, it begins, right, in your own corner of the universe. And there is some sort of metagame where there is an idea to push from the outside of the universe inside. Players are drawn as if by gravity toward the center of the universe. Why? Is there a candy-like center? I don't know. But the idea is you're moving in, and there are going to be these obstacles, some of which may be human beings, and some of which may be terrifying robots.
You know, kind of like your creepers and your zombies in a game like Minecraft. They're there, but they're just kind of like speed bumps to that larger metagame like you're describing. There are certainly mysteries, right? These gates, there seem to be artifacts. We've seen a lot of these rings down on the surfaces of planets. There's these big glowing-eyed obelisks that appear in space that really haven't been described or defined.
And it's up to us as players eventually to find them. And there's some reward for finding them, right? Like when you discover a planet, you'll be noted as that planet's discoverer. And the things on the planet are yours to lay eyes upon first. Claim, I assume, perhaps even name.
The thing that's most interesting to me about this game is kind of how they're going about building it, right? They've got the procedural tools in place to set this massive universe spinning and to set it loose and to have it create all the various worlds that it's going to create. As developers, they're acting as an intermediary, trying to add richness and systems and things for people to do in between the universe and the player. But the universe is there already and could exist right now to hear them talk about it. They're putting the gameplay and they're putting the richness in by hand, not the world by hand.
Right. It's very much, it seems to me like they're constructing a sandbox and then, like you said earlier, in a Minecraft sort of way, then backing off. Their job is to build the universe and your job is to play in it. The technology that underpins all of that is interesting, sort of difficult to explain. But like you said, that the universe exists as a sort of formula, and the job of the game and the engine is to make it appear when you arrive.
And the other thing I want to appear when our viewers arrive are some answers. And so if there's extra information that you're looking for about this game, if there's questions that you've got unanswered, drop them in the comments below. And Dave and I will kind of circulate through there and we'll see what we can do to find some answers. And for those great big questions that we aren't able to come to some resolution together, we're going to reach out to the guys at Hello Games and see what we can find out for you as well.
Sounds good to me.
And again, we don't know when it's coming out. We do know that it's going to be on PlayStation 4. Eventually, it has the potential to go onto PC. But for at least the near future, it's going to be a PlayStation 4 exclusive.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to it, Dave.
You and me both.
All right. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.